Hello, good evening. Uh, Today I'm going to give a presentation on trade life cycle. Trade life cycle is considered as core investment banking operation because operations is considered as back end of any firm, and once trade gets initiated, this trade life cycle, the back end of total settlement of everything happens at the back end. So this is one of the most important aspect of an investment banking operations department. So I want to give a brief presentation on this topic. Before that, I want to introduce myself. My name is Satya Prasad, and I born and brought up in Chaudupal, which is just outside Hyderabad. And I come from a family of five. My father is a government employee, and my mother is an housewife, and my two elder sisters are working professionals. I graduated in the year of 2022 from Satyabama University, Chennai, specialized in computer science and engineering. My strengths are I am confident and energetic and mentor personal skills such as communication, leadership, and networking skills. Recently, I have completed a investment banking operations course offered by Imaticus Learning Hyderabad. In this program, I have learned what is financial system, what are different products in the financial system like equity products, fixed income securities, derivatives, and so on. And also, I learned core investment banking operations like this trade life cycle operations, AML KYC operations, collateral management, risk management, and so on. And my goal is to put these theoretical skills that I learned in this program into practical use by joining an IB firm. So this is my brief intro. So coming to the topic today. Today I want to discuss about trade life cycle. Typically, what is the basic definition of a trade life cycle is trade life cycle is nothing but various stages a trade goes through from trade initiation till trade settlement and reconciliation, and the whole steps is considered as the whole life cycle of a trade. So in typically financial products are traded in two different kind of markets broadly. First is over the counter market, and the second one is exchange traded market. And the major difference is in the over the counter market, it is directly negotiated with the other counterparty without any intervention of any third person. But if you take in exchange traded are standardized organizations where all the dealers, all the buyers and sellers, everyone, each and everyone who is involved in the financial system comes to a place in a organized manner where they trade financial securities through that exchange. The exchange acts as an intermediary between these two people, and it protects it helps like a trade will it will make sure the trade will goes on if like those things. So first, I want to talk about over-the-counter trade life cycle. In this OTC trade life cycle, we have majorly eight different steps, and it starts with trade initiation. In the trade initiation stage, the front office department of the investment banking firm starts the negotiation, trade economic details with the other counterparty. Like in typically, the other counterparty is the other front office department of the buyer or the seller or the trader. And in this they will decide what is the price they want to trade, what is the quantity, quality, and so on. So after if everything goes through, then we enter the second stage, which is trade execution. In this trade execution stage, the investment banking firm looks for other party who is willing to take the other side of the trade transaction. So for that, the investment banking is going to find other trade partner. So if this stage also goes on, next we enter into trade capture stage. In this trade capture stage, the investment banking firm, the front office department, enters all the critical trade economic details like price, quantity, what is the trade date, trade time, client name, location, all those details into computerized centralized system, where it will transfer into middle office and other departments, back office departments. Next, we have trade enrichment stage. In this trade enrichment stage, the middle office department adds additional data called as reference data to already existed trade economic details, so that the trade goes through smoothly without any human intervention, and it is also called as state through processing. Like in this stage, the middle office department adds additional details like what is the client's standard settlement instructions, client's swift address, what are the values, security identifiers, every detail, every data that is required to execute this trade smoothly. Everything they will enter in this stage. And in the next stage we have trade verification and validation. So after all these details, the middle office department contacts the other counterparty and sends verifies all those details to check if there are any errors or mistakes in the details. After that, we enter into trade confirmation stage. In this trade confirmation stage, the other counterparty and this our front office department both confirms the trade that all the details are without any errors, and trade can go through the next stages. And the next stage, which is trade funding. In this trade funding stage, the actual money moves from the one company to other company. Mostly it is transferred by the front office department of an investment banking firm. And next, which is trade reconciliation and settlement. In this reconciliation stage, the back office department checks the data, the trade all the trade details, no, not the trade details, but already executed details, and check if there are any discrepancy between what the firm has what the firm has agreed, and but what has happened on the trade. So if they find any kind of these discrepancies happened, then they will do reconciliation and find out where this has happened, and they will rectify this error. Afterwards, the trade will get settled. This is the basic of this OTC trade life cycle. Next, I'm going to talk about exchange traded trade life cycle. In this exchange traded trade life cycle, we have few more important participants. Like first is exchange. Exchange is nothing but it acts as an intermediary between buyer and seller, and it acts as a buyer to the seller and seller to the buyer, so that it will protect the confidentiality of the other counterparty, and also it will helps to prevent defaults happening in the trade. So, and if you take a typical example in this stage, here there is a client called as BlackRock, and he wants to buy Tesla shares. So he approaches a firm called as JPMC, which is he approaches broker. Broker is nothing but he acts as a he acts as a face to the exchange. Like exchange, in exchange there are a lot of people who trades, but the exchange cannot able to settle with each and every person, right? So what the exchange will do is, exchange only allows people called as brokers. Through them only the trade will goes through. The exchange will only accept the trade if the trade has been put place by that brokers only. So any trade that any person, any client wants to do, he has to approach the broker only. So in this stage, the broker is JPMC. So he approaches the JPMC, and JPMC looks for the other counterparty and approaches the exchange. So this is the one side of the trade. And if you take the other side, there is a client called as KKR, and he wants to sell 1 million Tesla shares, and he wants to sell at $255. So he has put a sell order, and this person has put an buy order, and this exchange compares these two orders and checks if the trade details are matched. Not, if the buyer is willing to pay this much amount of money, and also will the seller accept that much amount, and also if the number of shares asked by the buyer is available in the market from the sell side also. So if all goes through, and if they find that there is a matching between these two, they will simply match the trade, and they will send to a second stage called as clearing house. In this clearinghouse, there is a member. If you take in this example, the clearinghouse member is DTCC. So the clearinghouse member JPMC, what they will do is, they first, the the person who has put buy order, he has money with him and he wants Tesla share in exchange. So what he has to do first is he has to pay the amount, which is 1 million Tesla shares into $255, which is $255 million. So what he does is he transfers the $255 million from his bank account to the clearing house. And if you take on the other side, here the seller side, he has 1 million Tesla shares. So what he has to do is he has to transfer the ownership of those 1 million Tesla shares from his account to the clearing house. So afterwards, after the clearinghouse got these two things. First is cash from this buyer, and Tesla shares from the, shares or securities from the seller. Then they will do as next thing, like they will simply take those Tesla shares and gives the Tesla shares to the buyer, and they will take the money which was paid by the buyer and simply gives it to the seller. So that's how this happens. And if you take this, there are two stages. First is paying and second is payout. In this paying stage, the buyer or the seller has to first give their securities or money to the clearing house. And in the payout stage, the clearing house settles the transaction by exchanging those different assets. So this is how the trade life cycle happens in exchange traded there things. So, and thank you. And if you have any doubts, you can ask me.
No, no, I don't have any doubts.
So, can I ask you a question then?
Okay.
So, Joshnavi, did you understand this exchange traded trade life cycle? This example or any of did you understand this exchange traded life cycle?
Yeah.
Okay, in this exchange traded, what does the role of a broker? What role does a broker plays?
What?
What role does a broker plays in this exchange traded life cycle? Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, are you there, Joe?
Yeah.
Okay, then I will end this presentation.